Hey, welcome back to the next thing. So, Yomo, this is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So, today we are doing the same book we did on Thursday last week. So, today we're doing part two of five of this book. I think I haven't read this book yet, but Chris seems to like it. So, the book is Think Like a Monk, Train Your Mind for Peace and Purpose Every Day by Jay Shetty, part two of five.
Yeah, no, I really like this one. I think I'd squeeze all the juice out of this one that I can squeeze out of it for sure. But yeah, no, this book is about a guy his name's Jay. He studied to become a Buddhist monk for like 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And he loved being a monk, but he didn't like living in a monastery. He just didn't feel like it was the place he wanted to
So, he
practice
didn't want
his
to be a
monk.
monk.
Kind of. Yeah, that's what he had, like this big crisis of confidence. That's what I was telling you about last time. The quote from one of his mentors was like, sometimes, there's people become professors and there's people that become entrepreneurs. Like, which one's better? And he was like, neither. And he was like, yeah, that's true. Like, go be an entrepreneur. Take your monkness and go be an monk entrepreneur. So that's kind of what he is. It's like a monk entrepreneur, if you will. So he's out there kind of spreading that's what he thought his purpose is. So he's out there sharing this message with a lot of people and trying his best to live his life that way and help others at the same time. So it was a cool book. I really enjoyed it. And it kind of because he did immerse himself in the life of a monk for many years, like he was able to have a kind of an interesting perspective on life. And I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. So this particular reflection is the spot, stop, and swap. Do you remember this one from about a year ago now?
Yeah. You me a lot.
Yeah, right. No, I did this as a monthly challenge, if you remember, right? So this was about the time that I was reading this book when my wife was launching their
Startup?
Their startup. Well, their
Charter school?
Yeah. So she, was gone all the time. Like she was working, 10, 11-hour days, and she was doing two different jobs. She was the principal at the school, and she was also a teacher because they didn't have enough enrollment on their first go through to be able to have funds enough to pay for their fourth teacher. So she was kind of like spot filling in at that time. She was teaching lesson planning all night long until like 11, 12 o'clock at night. She's at school all day long. She's doing fundraisers and whatever, and she was just gone all the time. And thank God we just finally got to the summer. This is last summer when I read this book. We finally got to this summer, and she's finally been able to calm down a little bit. They finally are going to have a full staff next year, and they're expanding, and things are going good. And I think like her kind of year of torture for herself is a little bit, I think we're past it finally, which is good. But that doesn't change how I was feeling at this time last year. I'm definitely not an angel. I try my best to be the person that I say I want to be and to honor my daughter's life and to live my values with her and living for two and all the things we've talked about. I try my best, right? But I'm certainly no angel. I do a lot of stupid shit still, and a lot of things I still have to work on and get better at. One of those things is I can get really, really, really bitchy, and like when I'm not comfortable or when I'm not, in my flow state, I guess, if you will, I'm not one of those people that just kind of chokes it down and doesn't say anything. It's like when I'm not feeling it, I definitely will express my frustration. And sometimes it doesn't make the situation better. As a matter of fact, it usually makes the situation worse. Almost 99% of the time. It's like one of those upward spirals versus downward spirals, right? When my negativity kind of kicks in, it can just, it can be a downward spiral real fast and take everybody down around me. Like and it's not fun to be around me. I know it's not when I'm in those kind of moods. And I've noticed a lot, especially with my wife, at this time during when I wrote this was, we've talked about this before. She's not the cleanest person. So like it's whenever I would come across just random piles of clothes just thrown around our room, or just other random shit that she just leaves all over the house all the time that I'm constantly cleaning up after or whatever. It was in those moments when I was reading this book and I was like, man, I could just tell the anger oozing out of me. I'm like, I'm doing all this shit for her right now. I'm trying my best to be a good husband, father, whatever, do all the other stuff for my children that I do. And anyway, I could feel myself just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. So I decided to make this monthly challenge after I read this book, which is something that Jay recommended that he does. It's called Spot, Stop, and Swap. This is his methodology to retrain your elephant, basically, and to systematically spot when you're doing something you don't want to be doing, stop it, have your rider pop in there and be like, okay, cut this shit off, right? And then swap out those negative thoughts for something positive, outlooks on life. So I thought, hey, I feel like I could be a better husband and stop being negative to my wife. And I decided to do this challenge, the Spot, Stop, and Swap challenge. Every time that I wanted to get mad at her and complain about something or go down my little shit spiral, I did it every single day. I would spot the top, I would stop it. And then I would swap it out. And I promised her, I actually told my wife about this after I read this book and I was doing this challenge. This is my challenge. You are my challenge for the month, is to, instead of me just automatically doing what I normally do, I'm going to try to do this. And she was like, oh, this is the best challenge ever. She was like, I'm happy to be your accountability buddy for this one. So whenever I would start to get bitchy about something, she could tell me, hey, not doing your challenge for the month. And it was actually really funny, honestly. I enjoyed it and I got through it. And I think I learned a few lessons along the way. We're predispositioned to look for the negatives in life a lot. It's how we survive, right? We got to always be on the lookout for things to bitch about, but sometimes you don't need a bitch. Sometimes it's okay to just move on and keep the upward spiral going on, in life, and it brings everybody up around you versus bringing everybody down around you. I've noticed this so many times. Whenever I'm in a shit mood, my wife is in a shit mood. Whenever I'm happy, feeling good, positive energy, I can tell my partner's happy, having good, positive energy, and they're playing better, and I'm playing better, right? But whenever I'm get frustrated, get a little pissed at myself, or start getting into my own head, in a singles match, it's fine because I can try to talk myself out of it. But when you have a partner with you, or in a doubles match, like your energy you give off to other people, it matters. So for me, this was what I was trying to do in this challenge, and it was interesting. It was a fun little way for me to remember how to spot my negative thoughts and swap it out for something else, and to have my writer interject on some stuff where my elephant was doing stuff that I didn't want it to do.
So are you still doing this?
No. I mean, I should. After this, I should, because this is why I needed a reminder. That was why we do this stuff. I forgot my elephant just went and did my elephant stuff again.
So it didn't stick.
I do remember it, obviously. Like,
why do you think this didn't stick? Well, the thing is, in the heat of the moment, like, you don't. To me, unless there is a trigger, you're not gonna be able to spot it.
It's hard. That's what I said. I was actively looking out for the triggers that my wife, the little trigger bombs my wife would leave around the house, or the stuff that she would do, they would just set me off, and not like violent or angry or something, but just, like, God damn it. Like, why is the laundry in the washer still wet? Like, if you wash your clothes, take it out and put it in the dryer, like, how hard is this? Like, you know what I mean? You know how frustrating that is when you just open up. Does your wife do that at all? Ever? You do? Like,
she does it all the time.
And it just makes, does it just make you want to
go crazy? It makes me go
exactly.
Crazy. I mean, it makes no logical sense. And so to me, don't wash it if you're not going to dry it.
Right. This is the crap that I'm talking about, that I had to go, all right, Chris, there's some clothes in there. Put them in the dryer yourself. I'm glad that we have enough money in this life to have clothes and a washer in a house and whatever.
Well, I think there's certain things that this concept can work for, but certain things are not. Something needs to be fixed versus Band-Aid. Because you think about it, let's say you do that, right? Your clothes are going to get ruined because it gets soaked and then bacteria grows on it or whatever, and it smells weird, right?
That's right.
You're not gonna be there all the time to do for her, and if not, then you might well be doing the person doing the laundry. And then my point is, like, if you go and you do the things that, let's say you get together, right? You share some responsibility. Sharing means what? Means like I do something, you do something, right?
Right.
So we kind of help each other out. But if you go and say, well, if I were to spend my time doing the laundry, and that's fine, right? I can stay at home, I can raise the kids, I can do the chores, I can do the dishes, I can do the laundry, I can do whatever. But then I don't have the time to do anything else.
Right.
I mean, you can't expect me to go work for 8 hours and then also do all these things, plus doing the other stuff that you say, well, that's my point. My point isn't that. My point is that there is certain things that you have to fix from the root cause, the cause of the reason why. Because the thing is, you say, well, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal if you let it continue to go out of spiral. Because you have to say, look, there are certain things that must be maintained. If you don't maintain it, it's going to collapse. Like you put boxes in storage. What happens to the stuff in storage? It gets wear out. It goes bad. You can't just store stuff. You have to use it. Let's say you have a brand new spanking clean mansion, and you don't live in there for 3 years. What happened to the mansion? You think it's going to be spotless when you get back in there?
No, of course not.
Of course not. So it's about the usage of it. It's not. Nothing is at a state. It's always in this transition. Like life is in a transition. So there's certain thing I think this concept may work, but at the end of the day, there are certain things that you must do, right? If you must express it, you must express it. But if you don't express it, right, you're gonna pay for it with something else. Maybe you bother down too much, and eventually you explode.
Sure.
right? Because yeah, you can swap some stuff, but not everything.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I
I don't
agree.
know. So for me, I think it's a good thought, but I don't think unless it catches on, and this is something that hey, yeah, I can align with it right away, and I can keep it going. Do that. If you don't have the reason to, it is going to be difficult. Just like I told you before, when I tried to quit caffeine in my late 20s and early 30s, it did not work. It was a miserable existence,
Right.
right? But until I read the book and I understand it and I knew the reason why to do that, it's like I never thought about it. I never thought about like, oh, I'm gonna have caffeine today. Oh, I miss caffeine. Anything. It's like for whatever reason, it just makes sense. When
Right.
it catches on, it catches on. When it doesn't catch on, it doesn't catch on. You cannot force it.
I,
It's about discovering the alignment. It's not about forcing. I give you credit for trying it. If you tried it and you find it thrilling and it works and it catches on, great. You have found your
right.
alignment.
Right.
If you don't, move on to the next thing. Don't worry about
I
it.
agree. So my challenge last month was no social media at all. I gave myself Sundays to go
Did it
say
work?
happy birthday. It was easy. Like, I mean, it was, as a matter of fact, I re-downloaded it on like the second or whatever, and I found myself the past couple mornings waking up and I was on Facebook sitting in my bed. I was like, what am I doing? I don't even care about this stuff. So I just deleted it off my phone again. Now I'm just gonna, whenever I want to look at it, I'll download Facebook, spend 5 minutes and delete it
I
again.
have
Just like,
Facebook, I have LinkedIn, I have Snapchat, I have Twitter, I have everything.
right.
I don't use it.
And
It's
honestly, you
right.
shouldn't. Like,
It's right there. But if you align, you align. If you don't align, you don't align. So
yeah,
don't force yourself. There are certain things that you like, right? And it's not really a reason why you like it specifically, because there may be something that is a similar, behaves and acts like it, but it's not good for you. For example,
right.
let's say we're talking about like avocados and dates, right? Some things are actually good for you that you want, and it's something you want, but it's not good for you. So you can say, well, this particular thing, whatever that is, may give me like a 99% or 95% of all I want, and I think that's what I want. But it's not 100% because there's certain things that is bad for you. Like maybe an apple, but there's something in the core that's rotten. Right? An
Right.
apple is still tastes delicious until you eat the rotten core. And so what I'm saying is there's certain things that you say, well, if you find something that aligns with you perfectly, it's gonna be both good and good for you.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, that's a trade-off. Just like you say, hey, you like potato chips. Do you like potato chip because of the combination of salt and something else? Maybe you're addicted to the crunchiness. Maybe it's not the potato itself, right?
It's
So I'm
salt.
saying is
It's salt. Like, I mean, I
salt,
love
right?
salt. I
So
love salt.
it's not bad for you.
Right.
It's like I'm saying is because you ate potato chips and you love eating potato chip, not because it's potato chip itself, but maybe 90% of the stuff that makes up potato chip, like salt and crunchiness or something
Right.
else, or blah blah.
Right.
So if you say, well, if this thing is 95%, what can give me
Well, I do love
100%?
potatoes. I love the salt with the potatoes.
Or is it the salt and the
I think
texture or whatever?
it's I love
Well,
French fries. I love,
I'm just giving you the characteristics of things
no, yeah,
inside of that, and I'm
yeah,
saying is there's certain things you may be able to find that even a better replacement for potato chips. It's actually good for you versus potato
right,
chip. It tastes good for you, but it's bad for you, right?
right.
So there may be something that is actually tastes good, like potato chips, but it's also good for you.
Right.
Maybe
Kale chips.
rice chips or whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not saying it's common.
Right,
These things are uncommon, but they do exist.
right.
So the finding alignment, I think, is the lesson that I take away from this reflection is that you finding the alignment. If you find the alignment, right, the things is going to be, it's going to be pretty good for you. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
is, you are who you are because somebody may not like your mug, right? So you say, hey, people don't like my mug. Oh, I should change my mug. Think about it. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So swap, stop, spot it, stop, and then change my face. Change
Right.
my mug because my mug isn't likable. Well, in that scenario, that's absurd, right?
Well, right. But so here's the thing, though. Like, I agree with what you're saying. Oftentimes, I let my elephant just be my elephant, and sometimes it needs a little slap in the face.
Right, because we've been trained without our consciousness for so long. Because when we were born, our rider isn't intelligent enough to to teach and condition and train the elephant. So the elephant learns by what it sees, and what it sees in society is not always good. To be honest, most of them is not good. We're
Right.
not trained properly.
I mean,
This is why the elephant does dumb things. This is because it does dumb things. It does something because you train it to do dumb things. So I say, well, you told me to do this, so I do it. It is your logic that is not correct in the time when you're training the elephant. So the elephant just does what you're training to do.
right. Well, now I'm 38 years old and my elephant does what my elephant does, so like it's hard to like like the point of what we're doing and the journeys that we're both on together isn't just to say, a beaver must dam, and like it is what it is, right? It's
Well, that's just what I'm saying. Is the
the
thing is, if an elephant does something and you say, "Hey, don't do that, don't do this," right? To me, this is what we're trying to do. Say, "Hey, don't you whip the elephant? Don't do it." So
right.
what I'm advocating is, instead of telling an elephant not to do something, tell an elephant to do the thing that wants to do.
I agree, and I do, like, but there are still times during the day, like I can't always do everything that I want to do, like, meaningful work wise. The stuff that you're talking about of like, yes, like when a beaver must dam and you're doing that perfect alignment, thing that you're talking about, like, yeah, get out of the way, like just let it do what it does. But there are times when my elephant is bad, and it needs a nice little slap in the face, like on stupid shit like this, right? So this is what I'm getting
So
at
that's my
is like,
question: is how do you slap the elephant in the face?
I was trying it with the spot, stop, and swap. I've been writing about this for years. Every time that I'm on a tennis court, I walk on there going, okay, we're just going to have fun. I can tell you exactly right now what I tell my elephant. And then when you open the washing machine and you're in a rush, you're just trying to get a quick load of laundry in, and you go, it's automatic. I missed a shot in the middle of a match and I'm frustrated by it. And I just go, God damn it, like, and I'm frustrated.
But everything is not bad, right? Everything has a reason, has a purpose.
Yeah, but it doesn't help me to get mad at somebody that's not even in the home about the washing machine being full right now. It does nothing but set me into a mindset of everything that comes after that is bad. This is my point. What I'm trying to get at is I agree with you. I do not want to stop and swap everything.
But the thing is, when you think about the laundry being damp wet, and when you need that outfit, that jacket, that short, or whatever, you're gonna say, "What the hell?" Right? Regardless, if you can swap all day long, you can swap for a whole year. For our care, every time you think about it, like let's say for whatever reason it triggers your thought in the middle of the match, you're gonna think about it, right? It just triggers you. I don't know how you can change that.
I don't either. That's what I'm trying to say. Is I've been trying to figure this out because
I'm saying the swap thing works on something, but not everything. In certain cases, it needs.
It says spot, stop, and swap. So to spot something, it has to have already happened. So when I do get that,
so a thought already happened, right? You went to the dryer, found it, right? You're in it. You found it. It's wet, and you need a fucking pair of shirts or jeans or whatever to go somewhere, and it's wet and it smells bad, right? Okay, she swap. Maybe she's busy. She didn't need to. Okay, take that. Go to tennis, and then you think about them.
I have other clothes. Like it's fine. I'll just put her. I'll put her clothes in the dryer, or whatever, and then I'll come back in a couple hours, and like
it only. And then later on, if it triggers the thought again, you can say.
Right. I'm not saying I can't make myself not think about, like negative things, right? Like that's not what the point of this is. It's to allow it to happen, but then not let it continue on into other aspects of my life, right? Like, cause like, I could have been singing, Mr. Sunshine on my goddamn shoulder, whistling like a little bluebird with me running down the stairs, holding this basket. And then, then I'm screaming, but like I was happy as a clam walking down the stairs. Now I'm frustrated. I'm going back upstairs and I'm still pissed off. And I'm like, God, that just took me an extra 10 minutes. I'm going to be late. I got to get in my car, blah, blah, blah. And when I get home later on, or when I get to wherever I'm going, I'm frustrated. But my point is, it's the compound effect.
I think it does have its place, but at the end of the day, it's still a life hack.
I don't know about that one.
So I think, like I say, I don't know the solution, but I think there gotta be a better solution to get us out of that little trap we're in. Because the negativity is, I agree, it's not good for us.
Right.
But at the same time, it doesn't solve the issue.
No,
So
that's,
in that
my
case,
wife shouldn't leave her clothes in the washer. I mean, like that's the truth. I mean, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares?
but you
But I
do.
do. It's you can't finish your laundry. You know, I mean, that's stupid. Like that should be fixed. You know, I mean, I think everybody that has to ever cohabitate with somebody would agree. That's dumb. You can't leave your shit in the washer. Like somebody else shouldn't stumble upon, you know.
I mean, this is why I don't do multitask. Because if I start laundry, I finish the laundry.
I mean, I'm kind of with you, man. Like
Right.
if I'm doing my laundry, I want
people
done. Yeah.
say you messed up so many things.
Right.
You're not very good at it. You're not finishing any task. This is the reason why they leave it in the middle. It's not because they wanted to, because they're distracted.
It is. It's up. I
And
mean, well, she does this all the time. She'll pick up like a toy for my son, which I'm glad she picked up the toy, but then she just drops it off
somewhere else.
just somewhere else, and I'm like,
She
and
puts
I
somewhere
have
else.
to
She's like, it's not in the proper place. Like sometimes she puts stuff in the fridge. Sometimes she put like she will take one toy and she goes to the kitchen and put the toy on the kitchen table, right?
And
It's
you're like,
well, that's not where it's supposed to go.
exactly. Just leave it where it is and make him
You're just
clean it up.
wasting effort.
I know, right? So this is the stuff that I'm talking about, though. Is like, I really would love to work on this for like, especially in my tennis game and my pickleball, in like any competitive endeavors, because it does have a negative effect on me. As much as I want to say it either fires me up or get a little, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, it gets my blood flowing, right? When you get frustrated or negative,
But isn't that a good thing?
I used to tell myself this is a good thing, but the more that I've gone down the road of it's like sugar, right? With like incendiary, it does light a fire in you, but that fire doesn't last. It's not sustainable.
It burns your whole face out.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, like you might have like a quick boost of energy,
Something with caffeine, it just constrains you. I mean, yes, it gives you a boost, but it constrains you for the rest of the day.
Exactly. So that's what I'm kind of getting at with like, especially when I'm playing like a competitive endeavor. Yeah, it might give me a quick boost, but ultimately, I think it in the
net is negative.
It's negative, right? And it's hard to get out of that downward spiral.
Yeah, trap. Right? I call it a trap because you get into a negative trap. And
exactly.
I agree with you. It's something I don't want to be in either. But for me, it's like I don't know of a solution how to get out of that trap.
I think you need to stop. I mean, the stopping part is probably the most important thing. Like we all know it. It's pretty easy to spot when we are doing something that we know we shouldn't do, you know, like
stopping the thought, right?
I think it's just got to come from training of just going, okay, you've walked into the negative shit spiral. You've got to just stop right now. So for me in a tennis match, it should be on the changeover when I'm frustrated, sit down and stop. Replace the thought with something else, right? That can work where you try to just stop it and cut it off right then and there. For me, it reminds me of like, hey, there's nowhere else I'd rather be. I'm living my values. Like, you know, it's this beautiful sunshiny day, you know, versus the opposite of that is I can go sit down and go, fucking, I can't believe I missed that fucking shot. It's so fucking hot out here. My eyes, sweat's coming in my eyes. Like the sun, every time I'm serving is just like, you know, whatever, you know, and then like on the positive side of everything, it could be, it's a beautiful day. Like I'm outside, I'm getting a tan. Like, you know, I'm playing a game that I like, you know, I'm sweaty. Like I love it. I love sweating. Like, you know, you just have to put like a squash like a bug or something of just like, it's got to stop. Great. Thank you for coming and saying hi, but like get the fuck out. So it is hard though. I mean, it's really hard. I think that just comes from a lot of training of recognizing when you can't stop the emotion from happening. Like I'm never going to like, you know, hit a bad shot and go, yay, you know, like I mean, like that's never gonna happen, right? You know, like
because you'd be weird.
You'd be really weird. Like I'm never gonna open up the washer machine and see a load of laundry in there and go, that's exactly what I wanted, you know. Like, oh my god, I couldn't be happier. Like, but what comes after that, I can at least try to work on from there. So like, I do think it's possible. I'm glad that we're doing this one today, actually, because it's reminded me to resurface this stuff, you know, and try and try it again, because especially in my tennis game, like it does help your marriage a lot too when you're just nice to your significant other. Like I remember her being like, she would chuckle like knowing what I'm doing, because I would get in the car and she would do something or whatever, and I'm like, what? And then I would look at her and I'm like, I love you, you know.
She said, you're weird.
No, I think she enjoyed it, honestly. She was like, oh thank God, because she hates it when I get negative with her. Like, and to be fair, I would hate it if somebody was being negative to me too. Like if every time that I jumped onto this call and you're like, oh great, here it goes again, you know, all right, you know, like here comes True with his negativity train, you know.
That's the thing. To me, if I bring the negativity, then you need to cut ties. It's like,
True.
why are you enduring something you shouldn't endure?
That's a good point. Well, I mean, that's something you got to ask your wife, if that's the case. Like, I mean, you'd have to ask my wife. I would say that's the case. I don't know. I'm not always like that. I am still the smiley, happy,
I
nice
mean, the
person
thing is,
too.
at the end of the day, it's a net positive. That's why you still together. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, regardless of how much you love her. If it's a net negative, you
Right.
can't stay, because
Yeah.
all you're gonna do is you're gonna make your life miserable. If
I,
you
I mean,
don't
I agree.
like
Yeah.
you don't like my negativity, then it's not meaningful relationship. You're just wasting your time. I mean, why are you taking the shit from me so that you can say, "Hey, I endured that shit from that shitty character over the other side of the screen."
Right.
What's the bragging rights there?
Nothing. I mean, you're right. It's
I can take the shittiest of all the shit.
right.
That's something appealing to you, and if it is, then maybe. But to me, there's no meaningful relationship if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, I
So,
totally.
so the thing is, I am who I am. You really can't change me, and even if I want to change myself, I still can't.
You're right. I can't change.
You can't change yourself either if you have learned
Right.
the wrong way. Yes, you can change back to the way you're supposed to be, but if you are naturally this outgoing, fun-loving, get into trouble person, you will do that, and because that makes you feel alive,
Right.
you will do that. You cannot change your nature.
Right. I can't not be Loki, or a
If you're
raccoon,
Loki,
right?
you have to be
Right.
Loki. I mean, you cannot be Loki and pretend to be Thor.
But
It
Loki,
doesn't last.
but Loki cannot be a
Lo-
totally dick all the time.
I'm saying is Loki became Thor for a short while, right? Remember the
I,
last.
well, I mean,
It didn't.
yeah, I mean that's torture.
He didn't get to do what he wants to do. Like he has to
Right.
restrain himself every time to be because he turned into Thor and he's
Right.
trying to be Thor.
It sucks. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of willpower. I mean, it takes a lot of willpower.
Sucks if
Right.
you don't get to be who you are. So like I said, you can't change who I am, because even if I have some kind of incentive, hey, pay me some money, but eventually that's gonna run out, and I'm gonna
Right.
go back to being the dickhead that you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of celebrities that are exactly like that, right? Where they're completely one person in the public and not that way, and eventually it all comes to a head. No, I think you're right. This one I'm torn on. I think I did learn something from it. It was an interesting challenge. I definitely think there's areas of my life that I would like to improve in.
Of
Is it
course, I mean,
possible? Is it
all of us.
possible?
I've been conditioned for 30 some years to do certain things that I know now that I don't want to do based on my
Right.
personality. I just don't
Yeah.
want to do it. I don't want to lead anyone. Like, just leave me alone.
Right.
I'll be your friends. I'll be your peers. I'll be whatever in that. But I'm not responsible for you, and you don't need to look at me to be a leader. To society, to become a leader is a good thing. To me, become a leader is a bad thing.
Right. Right.
In my personality's perspective, it's not. Nothing is universally bad or good. Does it align with your perspective? Does it align with who you are as a person? If it doesn't, then it's a bad thing. If it does, then it's a good thing. So no character is bad or good. So if you are a leader and that energizes you and you thrive in it, then be in it because it aligns with who you are, and do that. If it doesn't, then don't. For me, it's like I like to be independent and be free. I'd rather be free than make a lot of money. So you say, hey, I'll give you $1 billion if you go to prison for me for 10 years, and then once you get out, you have $1 billion. I won't take it. Let's say some rich guy say, hey, I did something bad. I killed my wife or whatever. Now you gonna be, this guy that's gonna take the blame for it, and you go to prison for 10 years or whatever. And when you get out, I'll give you $1 billion. Even if it's true, I won't take it because I value my freedom.
I wouldn't do that. What's the point?
So that's the point. Certain
Yeah.
people have a certain characteristic and personality, and that's who you're supposed to be. And you be that, your life, you feel for yourself is good. It's not what people tell you what you're supposed to do. People say, hey, you gotta be a leader, you gotta be a doctor, somebody reputable, somebody, whatever, doctor, lawyers, engineer, blah blah blah. Well, what if I want to be an artist? What if I want to be a trash man? Do whatever energizes you.
Well, but hang on, like my final thought on this though is there are things that are beavering on purpose for me that are bad.
Like,
I mean, like I don't want to be a dickhead to my wife. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the 38-year-old that acts like a little child on a tennis court that's throwing a temper tantrum. I don't want that. Like that's who I am. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that way. Like because I know that negativity, what it
so
does,
that's
you know, doesn't.
so there is some conflict, there's some unknown between those two things, because you say you want to be a childish tantrum throwing person on a tennis court, but then you say you don't want it. So which one? So there is conflicting.
I don't know.
So
It
the
is
thing is,
conflicting. You know,
it's conflicting between what you are told that it is
yeah,
proper.
that's true. I mean,
So the thing is, there is a conflicting wants there. So that's mean that there is something that has to be, I guess, discovered before you understand which one is the true ones. Because there is two things you want, but they say, hey, those two things are opposing each other. So it can't be.
well, I think it comes down to me of like, do I want to win or do I not want to win? I can't stop myself from wanting to win. Like, even though I don't mind losing, I like losing because it makes me better.
That's still conflicting again. So that's to
Is.
me, it's still conflicting. So when something's conflicting, something is amiss in that, you know.
Winning to me is boring. It's the expectation. Like, right? Like, I don't want to be bored when I play tennis, but at the same time, I don't
So
want.
winning isn't what you want.
No,
You
winning
want
isn't what I want.
excitement. Exactly.
I
So
do. I want to get frustrated.
if you think deeper, you're gonna start to realize that winning wasn't what you want. You want some excitement, some kind of thing that stimulates your mind, whether
I want
you
to be
win or
challenged.
lose. Yeah, so that's different than winning. So
Right.
when you say you winning, you thought you want to win, but it wasn't really what you want. See, that's what I'm saying is, as whenever you have something conflicting, one other thing is a thought of one thing versus a real want.
Right.
Right. And so
Yeah.
eventually, if you continue to uncover the veils onto this unknown, eventually you're going to find the root to true wants and just be that.
I'll have to go think about this one because
I mean,
yeah.
this
I'm
is
trying
what
to.
life is about. Life is
Right.
because the thing is, life isn't about, hey, I have everything, I know all of me. Because if you do, then to me, you don't want to live anymore because there's nothing for you to discover.
Right.
We as a human being, that I truly believe, and I'm like really like very very like truly believe this is what life is about. Life is about a place or a transition of a state. You go and discover a new state and discover another state. It's discovery, exploration, discovery. That's something that drives us. If we have that in our life, there's something to look forward to. Because if you say, "Hi, I know everything about me," then there is nothing for you to look forward to. If I know everything about the world, then there's nothing to look forward to. Because let's say you have $1 trillion and get anything you want, then there's no thrill at all. Let's say you like to win. Let's say you love to win, okay? Let's go play with all 10-year-olds. Play tennis against 10-year-olds. You're going to win all the time.
Right.
So do you love that? I guarantee you don't, because you don't love to win. It isn't about the winning. You think further down, right? You think further down. You don't really want to win.
I mean, like, it's not like I want
well,
to.
there's something else that you want that is not in the forethought of hey,
I
what
want to
is it that
challenge
you do?
myself. I like to get better and stuff, and I like to be challenged. I like somebody to frustrate me. I like to be frustrated.
It
is. I mean, I really enjoy scenario. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. At work right now,
talking about the person you want to fire. She frustrates you. Is that a good thing? Is that something you want to take in? Actually, let's say your boss wants you to do this extra project, and then she said, that's shit, Chris. You spend all this work on the extra credit. It's not beyond your scope of work. You do this beyond thing for her, and you say, yeah, it's not as good as I like. Do blah, blah, and she tore it apart. She frustrates you. I bet you like that.
Yeah,
that's what you're telling me. You don't. You
no,
don't.
I do. I actually do, because it gets my blood flowing. It gets my head problem solving.
I don't think. I mean, I think you're mistaking the frustration for something else. I think it's something else is close to it, but it's not really frustration. Because if someone frustrates you, when your body is
I like to be challenged. That's why one of my core values is challenge.
It's different.
Yes.
The thing is, I get what you're saying, but I think the word you're saying, it's kind of like it's a miss for me, because I think if you frustrated,
Well,
It's not the same thing as being challenged.
Challenge is one of my core values.
If somebody frustrates you without challenging you, it's not a good thing for you. I guarantee you that, because I know you long enough.
Oh yeah,
I know that if somebody frustrates you for something,
then I get pissed
nuance,
about the dryer or the washer.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's a different word, right? It's not frustration.
Meaningful frustration. How about that? All right.
If you find that word a little bit more.
Well, I'm going to go back to the drawing board on this one. This is a good conversation. That's why we do this, because it reminded me of, I do want to like improve in some of these areas. So I think I'm going to try this again, just like, especially on the tennis court. I think I'm going to write down this, put it in my like
SSSS.
Yeah. STT.
No, SSS. Spot.
SSS.
Stop. Swap.
SS. There you go. Triple S. I gotta get an acronym or something like that, All right, I'll try it. Next time. I have a tennis match tomorrow night, and I'm playing against somebody that is a frustrating,
it's a meaningful
frustration. He's somebody that I struggle with, and I cannot figure out how to beat him, and I know I'm gonna get frustrated. So I'm gonna.
Well, just tell yourself, hey, you're fortunate to play an opponent such as him, because if you play a 10-year-old boy, right? It's like, okay, I beat him.
Right. That's boring.
That was what I was
going to tell you.
Crushed him.
I'm so bored right now at work because we're doing so good. There's no meaningful frustrations right now. I don't have to do any coaching or values or whatever. Everybody's just humming along, doing what they're supposed to do, and having meaningful work and meaningful relationships right now. It's nice. The problem child has been exiled. I don't talk to her.
On the island of her own.
She doesn't have anything to do with anybody else.
As long as she doesn't call you.
Oh man, the days when she does, like, I've gotten really good at this one too. Whenever she does get me involved, it'll be like once every 2 weeks where some issue will flare up where I have to, because I'm technically still her boss, so some issue will flare up where I have to actually maybe do something, and I'm like, as soon as I see a message come from her, my blood, I don't even have to see what the message is. My heart starts going, oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay. And I click on it. I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, I'm done. I just forward it to the guy that wants her to, and I'm just like, hey, you need to deal with this. Let me know if you need something. And then I just go back to doing what I'm doing. I've gotten really good at stopping and swapping that thought, because I'm like, this has nothing to do with my meaningful work.
So stop and ignore.
Yeah, ignore. That is my swap. Is just pretend it didn't happen. Nope. Not doing it. Yeah. I've gotten good at that one though. That one I've gotten really good at. That has stuck for sure. Yeah, we'll see it. Well, I'll let you know tomorrow night after my tennis match. How it goes.
Okay.
All right. Any final thoughts for the night?
Yeah. What's the question?
Do you want to take the stop and swap challenge with me?
Probably not.
Do it with your wife, man, and tell her about it and see what she thinks.
I don't know. You should keep doing it.
Hey, it works as long as you're happy. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's find the real ones, right? Versus the thing you thought you want. I think that's something sometimes, it's the challenge, and that we didn't understand really the reason for our actions, because we have been conditioned for so long that we think this is what we want.
Fair enough.
So that's a bit hard to do, but it's worth doing some exploration.
Agreed. All right. Thanks for joining us.
For my sake.
Because I wanted to share on these, and that's the whole point of these things. But no, I'm going to do the responsible thing tonight. I'm going to go to bed. So,
okay.
All right. Thanks for joining, and we will see you all tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll do part 5 tomorrow. See ya.